Here in Massachusetts, even the prettiest towns hide the darkest secrets.
Massachusetts. The name alone brings images of Harvard University, Boston's cobblestone streets, and autumn leaves glowing like fire across New England. But beneath the charm and history lies a darker, lesser-known side of the Bay State. A side where poverty, crime, and lost opportunity haunt towns that once helped build America. Today, we dive into the story of these forgotten towns, not to mock or judge, but to understand how they fell and what hope still burns in their streets. This is the dark side of Massachusetts. Let's start our journey in the Western Hills, in a city once filled with the hum of machines and the pride of American industry. Pittsfield. Pittsfield was once the beating heart of New England's industrial power. The General Electric Company made this city its home, and for decades, families thrived on the steady rhythm of factory life. But when GE packed up and left, it was like pulling the soul out of the city. Unemployment soared. Small businesses died. Streets once filled with children walking to school became quiet. Poverty rates rose above the state average, and crime began to take root. Still, there's something hauntingly beautiful about Pittsfield. The old brick factories stand like silent giants, reminders of a time when the city mattered, when it had purpose. Today, local leaders are trying to bring new life into the town through art, tourism, and small startups, but the scars of industrial collapse remain visible on every corner. Now, let's head east along the Connecticut River to Holyoke, once proudly called the paper city of the world. In the 1800s, Holyoke was a marvel of engineering, with its massive canals and mills producing the finest paper in America. Immigrants from Ireland, Poland, and Canada built lives here, powered by the roar of the mills. But when global markets changed, the jobs vanished, and the city fell silent. The mills are now empty shells, their windows shattered, their walls covered in graffiti, a symbol of dreams that were never meant to fade. Today, Holyoke has one of the highest poverty rates in the state. Violent crime is a challenge. And yet, the people remain resilient. New tech hubs, renewable energy projects, and artists are breathing small sparks of hope into the broken heart of this once great city. Our next stop is Springfield, the third largest city in Massachusetts, and home to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But fame and pride aren't enough to erase decades of struggle. Springfield's downtown tells a story of two worlds, modern towers rising beside crumbling buildings, wealth beside poverty, and opportunity beside despair. For many residents, life here is not easy. Violent crime rates remain among the highest in the state. Schools fight for funding. Families work to odd 3 jobs to make ends meet. Yet, through it all, Springfield's spirit endures. Community centers, youth programs, and local heroes are giving new purpose to the city. The streets that once echoed with hopelessness now echo with determination. But if Springfield's story is one of contrast, then Lawrence's story is one of survival. Lawrence, Massachusetts, is a city that helped build America's Industrial Revolution. Its textile mills once employed tens of thousands. Immigrant families from Italy, the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico made this city their home. But when the factories closed, the jobs disappeared, and Lawrence's promise turned into pain. Today, Lawrence is often listed among the poorest cities in Massachusetts. Crime, poverty, and lack of education remain ongoing struggles. But it's also a city with an unbreakable heart. Despite hardship, Lawrence has a strong sense of culture and community. You'll find street festivals, small businesses run by immigrants, and young entrepreneurs who believe their city can rise again. Then there's Brockton, once known proudly as the City of Champions. The hometown of boxing legends Rocky Marciano and Marvin Hagler, Brockton was built on strength and pride. But these days, the city's fight is not in the ring, it's in the streets. Economic decline has hit Brockton hard. Violent crime and unemployment have taken their toll. Yet, like the fighters who came before them, the people of Brockton refuse to give up. New businesses, art galleries, and community projects are starting to bring color back to the grey walls. The city is still fighting, still standing, and still proud. If you look closely, you'll see a pattern in all these places: Pittsfield, Holyoke, Springfield, Lawrence, Brockton. They're all cities that once had power, purpose, and promise. But as the world changed, they were left behind. Factories closed. Jobs moved overseas. The middle class shrank. And what was left was the quiet pain of working families trying to hold on to the American dream. But maybe the real story isn't about loss. Maybe it's about resilience. Because every one of these cities is still alive, their streets may be cracked, but their hearts are still beating. You see, there's something deeply human about places that fall and rise again. They remind us that progress always has a cost, that for every shining skyline, there's a shadow underneath. The dark side of Massachusetts isn't about monsters or myths. It's about real people, real struggle, and the forgotten beauty of survival. In Lawrence, you'll see kids playing soccer in alleys beside abandoned mills, laughter echoing through the ruins. In Springfield, you'll find teachers giving their all in schools that barely have funding. In Holyoke, artists are painting over decay with color and hope. In Brockton, families still gather every weekend, still cheering, still proud of their city's fighting spirit.